Vikas is a young guy who just graduated from the college and was looking for a job. But one after another, he was getting rejected in every interview that he appeared. He was applying for different kind of jobs, but he was getting rejected in each one of them. And that continuous rejection was turning Vikas' good behavior into an irritating one. He would often get angry, and when he is in anger, he would spill his venom on anyone who is in front of him, whether it be his father, his mother, his friends, neighbor, relatives, or anyone. He wouldn't escape anyone from his anger, and everyone around him was annoyed with this changed behavior. His father tried to advise him on how to reduce his anger and get out of the situation. Everything would be perfect, but nothing worked. When all advice went in vain, his father finally took him to a clinical psychologist. Now, the psychologist listened to Vikas' problem carefully. And then he took Vikas to the market and bought half kg of nails. And then the psychologist asked Vikas to take him to Vikas' home. And both of them went to his home. Now, Vikas used to live in a countryside home, where outside his home there was a garden fenced by the boundary wall. Now, both of them were standing at the garden, and the doctor told Vikas, "See, Vikas, I'm not giving you any prescription at present, but I want you to hammer a nail in this boundary wall every time you get angry. Now, it's a small exercise that I'm asking you to do, but you have to do it without fail. Whenever you get angry, you have to hammer a nail in that boundary wall." And Vikas agreed, because he was also not happy with his changed behavior. He also wanted to get away from this habit of getting angry often. And with that advice, the clinical psychologist went back. Now, that day, Vikas got angry 37 times and he hammered 37 nails in the boundary wall. When he was hammering each nail, he was thinking about, I should not get angry. And it was an irritating task. The initial 1-2 nails were okay, but with each additional nail, he was pleasing himself that he would not get angry. Now, the day 1, the count was 37. On day 2, he got angry 21 times and then he nailed 21 nails. And gradually, with each day, the number of nails on the boundary wall was decreasing, because Vikas was finding it easier to control his anger than to hammer a nail in the boundary wall. Finally, the day came when Vikas didn't hammer any nail into the boundary wall, and he was pretty happy about it. He went to the psychologist to tell him about his achievement, and the psychologist smiled at him. He told him, "Vikas, you're really on the right path. Now do one thing. Whenever you get angry, now you have to take out a nail from the boundary wall. The same nails that you have hammered, you have to take each nail once you get angry again." And Vikas happily agreed to it. So every time he would get angry, he would pick out a nail from the boundary wall. And within 6 months, all the nails were out. Now Vikas went again to the psychologist to tell him that he has taken out all the nails from the boundary wall. And the psychologist told, "That's really good, Vikas." And then he went back with Vikas to his home and he looked at the boundary wall. It was all crippled and there were too many spots of the nails. And then he asked Vikas, "Vikas, what do you see on the boundary wall?" And Vikas replied, "I see a lot of damage, a lot of holes, and then Finally, the psychologist told that because these holes and this damage that you are seeing, it is the real damage. And it is like the words that you tell when you are in anger. When you tell a bad word, you hurt somebody. It is like hammering a nail. Now, it doesn't matter how many times you say sorry to that man, but once you take out that nail with that sorry, there remains that hole. There remains that hurt. So every time you get angry and say bad word to somebody, you leave a scar on their heart. A scar that you can never wipe out. Vikas had got his lesson. And finally, he was away from this bad habit of getting angry often. And within 1 month, he got a job offer from an MNC company. There are 3 things I learned from this story. Number 1, these scars can never be removed. They can never be wiped out. So it is best that we avoid them at the first place. Number 2, sometimes we get into such troublesome situations which turn our behavior irritating. But this doesn't give us the freedom to hurt others. It is our responsibility to control our behavior. And number 3, sometimes we can't get ourselves out of the problem. During this time, we need somebody's help. And we should not hesitate to ask that help. With that said, this is Abhishek Saneri, your storyteller, and we'll meet again with another story. If you like this story, do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.